Good morning, fam. Starting off the day right with a glass of orange juice. No alcohol involved. And I'm doing another book report. This time, an old book that's been sitting on my shelf for I don't know how many years. The Ganzfeld Volume 7. The Ganzfeld is or was, a kind of a square-bound fanzine produced by Dan Nadel, who is a curator slash scholar slash publisher slash ultra fan. The Ganzfeld started off as a basically aimed at looking at comics, and I remember stumbling across the first issue and just being amazed by the quality of it because I didn't know who Dan Nadel was at the time. Since then, I have actually met him a few times and gone out to dinner with him and so on. But and the issue 7 was the last issue, and I'm not really sure when I got it. I might have. I don't think I've had it since it came out, but I think maybe I've had it for years. It's just been sitting on my shelf, and I think I read bits and pieces of it, but I sat down and read the whole thing the other day, and it's like all the previous issues of the Ganzfeld in the sense that it's a anthology of text, images, etc. But what over time he became less interested in comics qua comics, and more interested in just images and whoever made them, and his interest as a curator has become more he's become more and more part of the art world, and interested in people like Peter Saul and Red Grooms and so on, and I curated a bunch of really great shows, which I'll put links to some of them that I've seen, and to some of the work he's done in my post. Anyway, this issue was the last issue, and the cover was by Ben Jones, and Ben Jones is he does these kind of comics-like things, very kind of faux naif style. But he's also part of the art world and has been to art fairs in Miami and done sculptural things that are actually pretty cool. So he's kind of the perfect kind of person to be on the cover of the Ganzfeld. And some of the people in this issue are Lauren Weinstein, Kevin Hueyman, Pishaw, CF, Matt Brinkman, and those are all people in comics adjacent worlds, but some of the people are strictly, or not strictly, but best known for their visual art. So he's doing a kind of a combination of comics and standalone images by artists. And I think if you wanted to characterize Dan's taste, it's for quasi-narrative image making, whether that's by people at like the Harry Who artist, and he's published books about Carl Wortham, for example, or Peter Saul, for example, or more recent examples like Carol Dunham. I guess Carol's an old man now, but he's not as old as Peter Saul. And he now that's now his focus, I think. He started off this zine, and then he grew that into his own publishing house called Picture Box, which published a bunch of really great books. I think he published the first Trenton Doyle Hancock big book. It was Trenton Doyle Hancock kind of fits perfectly in with his aesthetic. He published a book about Fort Thunder, the Providence, Rhode Island crew of cartoonists slash silkscreen artists slash performance people that existed in the 90s. and have gone on to do great things. And some of them are in this particular volume. And he's published a lot of great comics and art books. And he did that for a while, and I think I'm not sure why he stopped, but it might be for the same reason that most publishers stop, because it's a fantastically unremunerative business. You know, it's hard to make a living doing it. After that, I know he worked for a while for DAP, the big art book distributor. But now he's working, at least according to his website, as I think an independent curator, and he must be having some success with it. Um, anyway, this book, I really liked the art by Kevin Huyman. It's a very grungy and gritty kind of bit of comics. I'll put it up on screen when when I publish this, um, and also by illustrations by a guy named Keith McCulloch, about whom I know nothing, but I thought his illustrations were great. And there's a really fascinating article by Peter Blegvad, who is another kind of comics adjacent illustrator who did a bunch of great things back in the 80s and 90s, and as far as I know is still doing great things, about his father, Eric Blegvad, who was an illustrator, kind of a little bit more classical than any of these other guys, and did a lot of children's books. And it's really a great piece. And all the text pieces are really good. So it's mostly illustrations and comics, but it's scattered with these text pieces that are also really good. Anyway, that's Ganzfeld 7, and I would highly recommend it.